Is today the day where you make excuses? Or is today the day you make a decision?
A dream without a deadline will become your nightmare. And that nightmare will haunt you for the rest of your life.
If you wait until you're ready, you might be waiting the rest of your life.
You can't keep doing what you've been doing and expect to get different results.
You're not going to feel the process all the time. You're not going to see it. Some days you're not going to want to write about it. You're not going to want to talk about it. You're not going to want to think about it. You're going to have migraines thinking about the sacrifices that are required to get to this next level, but just don't stop.
So let the dream destroy you, tear you down, redefine you.
That most of you say you want to be successful, but you don't want it bad. You just kind of want it. You don't want it badder than you want to party. You don't want it as much as you want to be cool. Most of you don't want success as much as you want to sleep.
Let this be day one of the beginning of the new you. Death to the old you. Show the world everything that you got inside. Show the world that you can become something that nobody ever thought you could become.
I have to execute. I have to give it everything I have, like I know there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. Everything that has happened to you. And I want you to look yourself in the mirror and I want you to recite these 3 words. I made it. When others burnt out, when others gave up, you are still here. And that counts for something. Make this year the first year of the best years of your life. Be extraordinary. The world is waiting on you. Take the year with everything that you have. So prove them wrong, but prove yourself to be right.
I dare you to take a little pain. I dare you. I dare you not to go home. Go through it. You ain't gonna die. At the end of pain is success. You're not gonna die because you're feeling a little pain.
You gotta change that mindset. People that are hungry are willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have.
To have a special life, you have to do special things. And that usually means putting in the work and loving it.
No one is going to create the future that you want for you.
We get one opportunity to come this way. We get one shot. We got one life to live. Life is too short to make excuses.
I want you to close your eyes and visualize your dream.
I need you to get out of your comfort zone.
If we all woke up ordinary, we all off to the same start.
You've decided that you're not going to allow the events, the things, the people, life determine who you become.
It is a decision that you have to make within yourself. No one is responsible for that.
Stop waiting to feel like it. Stop waiting until you see it.
Failure is only permanent if you choose not to get back up.
And what you do today will determine your future.
And I'm asking you, what do you see in the future for you? What brought you here today? What caused you to get up?
You're closer than you've ever been before. You have to do me a favor. Those 15 minutes are not worth the rest of your life.
It's not easy, but it's worth it.
You woke up this morning to chase your dream until you catch it.
You're going to have to sacrifice who you used to be. When you want to sleep, you have to wake up.
So don't run from difficulty. Run to it.
Because it's always darkest before the dawn.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, give it 120%.
Every day, every single day is a new beginning. So take a deep breath. Inhale, exhale. It's a new day, a new opportunity. The reason why you're so frustrated and angry and bitter is because you're functioning on an old software internally. And life is demanding an upgrade. And you keep pushing off the alarm, saying, remind me tomorrow. It's time for the next version of yourself. Snap out of it. You're going to have to sacrifice who you used to be. Sacrifice is what's going to get you in the door. Sacrifice is what's going to have you seated at the table. College is not high school, and the real world is not college. And so you can't keep showing up the old version of yourself. And so you got to learn how to sacrifice your time. You got to sacrifice. When you want to sleep, you have to wake up. When you want to watch that movie, you got to read that book. If you want the future, you got to sacrifice your time. Time, where we spend our time is what we value most. Get out of this 30-day mentality and commit for the rest of your life. I need you to get out of your comfort zone. You can't be successful with the companion of comfort. Comfort and success cannot walk together. Boss up and admit that you are afraid. You are afraid to fulfill destiny. You are afraid to manifest. You are afraid to evolve. You are afraid to give it everything you have because you are afraid that people will reject you. You are afraid to change. You are afraid to move. Boss up and admit that you are afraid. And I'm just believing that today is the day that you break through. I need you to tell yourself, I am not afraid. I am not afraid of pursuing my objectives. I am not afraid of focusing. I am not afraid of sacrificing. I am not afraid of giving it everything I have. I don't care what anybody thinks. I don't care what I'll look like. I'll look crazy if I have to fulfill my destiny. This is my time. Late nights, early mornings, sometimes no friends, no family. I don't know what your sacrifice is. You just may have to give everything you have. But in the end, it'll be worth it.
See, happiness is an emotional response to an outcome. If I win, I will be happy. If I don't, I won't. It's an if-then, cause and effect, quid pro quo standard that we cannot sustain because we immediately raise it every time we attain it. You see, happiness demands a certain outcome. It is result reliant. And I say if happiness is what you're after, then you're going to be let down frequently and you're going to be unhappy much of your time. Joy, though, joy is a different thing. It's something else. Joy is not a choice. It's not a response to some result. It's a constant. Joy is the feeling that we have from doing what we are fashioned to do. It is just as important where we are not as it is where we are. Look, the first step that leads to our identity in life is usually not, I know who I am, I know who I am. That's not the first step. The first step is usually, I know who I am not. Process of elimination. Defining ourselves by what we are not is the first step that leads us to really knowing who we are. South of New Orleans a few years ago, and I went to a voodoo shop, and they had this wooden partition against the wall with these columns, and in these columns were all these vials of these magic potions, right? And the headings above each potion defining what they would give you were things like fertility, health, family, legal help, energy, forgiveness, money. Guess which column was empty? Money. Let's admit it. Money is king today. It's what makes the world go round. It is success. The more we have, the more successful we are, right? Now, I would argue that our cultural values have even been financialized. Humility is not in vogue anymore. It's too passive. It's a get rich quick on the internet, richest 15 minutes of fame world that we live in, and we see it every day. But we all want to succeed, right? So the question that we got to ask ourselves is what success is to us, what success is to you. Is it more money? That's fine. I got nothing against money. No. Maybe it's a healthy family. Maybe it's a happy marriage. Maybe it's to help others, to be famous, to be spiritually sound, to leave the world a little bit better place than you found it. Continue to ask yourself that question. Now, your answer may change over time, and that's fine. But do yourself this favor. Whatever your answer is, don't choose anything that will jeopardize your soul. Prioritize who you are, who you want to be, and don't spend time with anything that antagonizes your character. Don't drink the Kool-Aid, man. It tastes sweet, but you will get cavities tomorrow, all right? Life is not a popularity contest. Be brave, take the hill, but first answer that question, what's my hill?
There's a responsibility to freedom, and that there is freedom in responsibility. You know, and that earn your way there. We remember the stuff we earn, the stuff we experience, more than what the teacher tells us or what someone gives us for free. We just do. We broke a proverbial sweat on it, whether it was mental or physical or whatever. We built it. We understand. We felt how we got it, how we achieved it, how we got what we wanted. Those stick with us. Whether we forget them intellectually, they were written in our lineage, and they build resilience, and they build a healthy, true optimism going forward to know that, oh no, I've worked for something before and achieved it. Delayed gratification. Oh, there are choices I can make today for myself that will pay me back later in life. So there are choices we make. If you're going to say right now, I'm going to lie, cheat, and steal to get what I want, and I got it. I got an immediate green light for me. That's a battery-powered green light. That's not a solar-powered green light. Why? Because now, everywhere I go, I got to look over my shoulder to see if someone's there that I lied, cheat, and stole from. And when I'm doing that, I'm stealing whose time? My time. I'm not free. I don't have the freedom. I didn't create freedom in my future because I chose to make an irresponsible act that I left crumbs. I've now got reasons to look over my shoulder. And the more things we do to create in our future that we got to look over our shoulder, the more of our most precious thing we have in our lives, time, that we're stealing from ourselves. So it's not puritanical. It's just like, it's actually self-serving. It's a very selfish choice. And I'm a fan of the word selfish. I've helped redefine it. But I believe that there are selfish choices we can make that are the most selfless, that there are selfless choices that we can make that are the most selfish choices. Those two are not a contradiction, and we see them that way. Responsibility is appreciation of a past. It's building of a lineage. It's investing in ourselves. It's investing in something we started to build yesterday that we want to take into tomorrow.
You only have to ask a stupid question once. You ask a stupid question, and if you're in a crowd and you ask a stupid question, 80% of the people in the crowd have the same question. They're just too cowardly to ask. But you ask and then someone actually tells you, you never have to ask that question again. You're no longer stupid. What stupid thing am I doing that I could quit doing? That I would quit doing? Because those aren't the same thing, right? Because you know there's stupid things that you're doing that you're just not going to quit doing because you like them. But there might be something on the edge there where you could stop that.
If you want to know something about yourself, sit on your bed one night and say to yourself, you got to mean this, like you got to be desperate. This is no game, this. My life is not everything I want it to be, and perhaps it's not everything that I need it to be. And by need, I mean my life is so unbearable that the suffering that's attendant upon that is make me nihilistic, cynical, bitter, resentful, driving the proclivity to see evil everywhere except within my own heart. Like, these are problems, man. And you ask yourself, you sit on the bed and say, okay, man, I'm ready to learn something. What's one thing I'm doing wrong that I know I'm doing wrong, that I could fix, that I would fix? It's like, you meditate on that, you'll get an answer. And it won't be one you want, but it'll be the necessary one. You know, and it's often something that will point you to small things. Like, that works. You start making those micro improvements, like real micro improvements, real on the ground, actual micro improvements to things you know that are wrong, you'll improve unbelievably rapidly.
The great people I know are brutally truthful to themselves and other people, and they have insanely adventurous lives. Get rid of everything you say that you only say to impress other people, and just see if you can say what you believe to be true. That's an adventure. That's the thing about the truth, you know? Well, you got to ask yourself, if you're not speaking the truth, who is it that's talking? If you're saying something that you do not believe to be true, it's not you talking. It's something else. It might be the part of you that wants to manipulate the other person into delivering what you think you want from them. Well, what is that spirit of manipulation that you've allowed to possess you? It's not you. Let's say you decide to live your whole life in that instrumental manner. You're going to craft your words like the student who says, well, I'm going to write what the professor wants to hear so I get the grade. It's like, well, you just turn yourself into that. Well, who is it that's doing that manipulating? It's not you, because those aren't your words. So even if you get the grade, it's not you that got the grade. It's the false you. It's the manipulative you. So you do that your whole life. You don't have your life. And then you think, well, God, that was a miserable life. I manipulated everybody. They were so damn stupid. They were sucked in by it. They're all contemptible. Everyone does it, you know, which they don't, by the way. And so that's a pathway to bitterness. Partly because if you're a manipulator and you use your language falsely, you don't live your own life. You live the life of whatever possesses you when you think it's you manipulating. And so you live the life of the spirit of manipulation.
First rule, the moment you start to slide, you're shoveling against the tide. What you need to do is what? Take a break. And here's what's cool about it. You can study for a half hour. It doesn't take a half hour break to recharge your batteries. For most people, about 5 minutes.
We always dread sitting down to study for extended periods of time. But what you may not realize is that you are hindering yourself from studying effectively if you do this. As Marty Lobdell explains in his lecture, things that are reinforced we tend to do more of. Things that are punished or ignored, we tend to do less of. This can transfer to how we study as well. If we dread sitting down to study for 5 hours straight, we aren't going to study nearly as well as if we break up our study into smaller chunks of time. According to London's Global University, 5 of the benefits of taking study breaks include improved memory, reduced stress, improved health, and boosts to your energy, as well as boosting your performance and creativity. The main point to take away from this is to make sure to break up your study time from longer periods to shorter ones with scheduled breaks. As a bonus, add on a well-deserved treat at the end of the study time. It'll help motivate you to be more productive during your allotted study time.
And this is where you go away, do something fun for 5 minutes. Call a friend, talk to a child, talk to a parent, a roommate. Enjoy some music. Do something you enjoy and actually say, this is my treat for having studied for 30 minutes effectively. Go back and here's what happens. Your efficiency is nearly 100%. Study a half hour, take a break. Study a half hour, study a half hour.
I got 3 words for you. Shut it down. Log out of the social media. Get off the internet. Unplug and evaluate where you are and where you're supposed to be. You got one life to live. The question is, why are you here? And what are you going to do about it? Because the truth of the matter is, you have survived the greatest traumas of your life. Life has hit you. Life has knocked you to the ground. There are people that have tried to bury you alive, and you survived. So I need you to disappear for 30 days. I need you to disappear for just 1 month.
Don't worry about the prize. You worry about the process. You don't decide when you're born. You don't decide when you die. But you got a whole lot to do with that in-between stuff. Listen to me. Whatever you put your heart to do, whatever you put your mind to do, whatever it is that you want to accomplish, I don't care if you don't have no support. With me, you alone, we can get this thing done, baby, all right?
Who am I talking to? I'm talking to that person that's tired of where they are, and you are bold enough, you are crazy enough, you are courageous enough to shut it down for 30 days.
The window of opportunity and sometimes the window of life, it closes quickly. And so I need you to do me a huge favor, man. I need you to get busy living.
The future is very expensive and it requires sacrifice now. Can you depart from instant gratification and suffer now that you live the rest of your life a champion?
All you need to get where you're going, you already got it, right? You already have it. All I need you to do is believe in yourself.
Disappear for 30 days. Come back and shock the world. Can you identify what has kept you broken? What has kept you broke? What has kept you defeated? What has kept you covered under the blankets of anxiety and stress and overwhelm? But you're trying to make business moves with people that don't think like you. They don't walk like you. They don't sacrifice like you. They're not willing to put in the blood, the sweat, the tears behind closed doors. A man is rewarded in public for what he does in private. I need you to disappear for the next 30 days. What does that look like? 720 hours dedicated to the future. I need you to disappear for 30 days. Just 30 days. Can you walk away for 30 days? Can you silence the doubters for 30 days? Can you tell everybody to be quiet for 30 days so you can focus on you? Who you are today has gotten you as far as you're going to get. If you're going to get any further, you got to reinvent yourself. And if you're going to reinvent yourself, you've got to shut it down for 30 days.
I need you to pursue it. I need you to go get it. All right? I need you to go get it. Don't wait for it to come to you. All right? Greatness is not going to come knock on your door. There's some opportunity that's not going to come knock on your door. You got to go get them. Without even knowing you, if you're watching me, I already know you got something within that you wanted. I already know that. Because I already know you can. But my question to you young people this summer, will you? I already know what you're capable of doing. But my question is, will you reach your potential?
You've been too focused on who was not there for you and who did not believe in you and the people that just said it but didn't do it. You've been too focused on that. The trauma, the anxiety. And I'm wondering if you can begin to shift that focus in the next 30 days. If you can begin to shift that focus on what's working in your life, what's within your control and not what's outside of your control. What can you control? Who can you influence? The first person that needs to be influenced in your life is you. It's you. You can't lead anybody. You can't go anywhere unless you have awakened yourself on the inside to follow a specific plan. Write it out. I need you to disappear for 30 days.
You know, what should happen when you go to university is you should learn how to think and formulate arguments. You should learn to think, speak, and write. That's what the humanities are for. They're to make you dangerous, right? Because if you can think and speak and write, you're deadly. In a complex job, you're exactly what's necessary. There's nothing you can possibly do to become more deadly than to improve your facility with language. And the way you do that is by reading, especially great things, and by writing, and by thinking, and by speaking, for that matter. But how could that not be viewed as absolutely central to what education is about? You want to be inarticulate and stumble over everything that you try to think and communicate? Yeah. How are you going to get anywhere? You don't even know who you are under those circumstances. You're this massive feeling that's expressing itself, you know, maybe in violence because you can't find the words. And you stumble around and bump into things and you're clunky and dull and you're not witty. You don't sparkle. So let's say you take the example of a SEAL who's got it all, but this literacy. What happens to him compared to someone who has all those skills?
If he can't write well and he's in charge of 6 guys and one of those guys works hard or does something that deserves to be recognized, this is the responsibility of that leader to write that person an award.
Okay, so he can't reward his good workers, his good soldiers.
He can give him a pat on the back, but a pat on the back isn't going to get him promoted. An award is actually worth some points towards your promotion. And the people that are on that board that are giving that reward, they're never going to meet that leader, and they're definitely not going to meet that guy. There's no bias. It's based on this piece of paper that you hand in. You hand in this piece of paper, they read the piece of paper, and they say award approved or award not approved. Mm-hmm. Or you want to do a mission, and you send that up the chain of command, and it's the same thing. It gets to a certain point where they're just looking at it and reading and trying to decipher this pile of junk that you put together. And by the way, if I'm in charge and Jordan sends me a concept of operations that doesn't make any sense, why would I possibly let you go out and execute an operation that I can't even understand what it is you're trying to do?
Because what I observed in my own career, and it's so interesting, the parallelism is so interesting but not surprising, is that nothing can stop you if you can write. And it's for the reasons you just laid out. It's like when you write, you make a case for something, whatever it happens to be. And if you make the best case, well, then you win and you get whatever it is that you're aiming at. And so you're adventurous. You want to make a mark. You bloody well better learn how to write. Because if you learn how to write, well, then you can think and you can communicate your thoughts. So not only are you deadly strategically, you become extremely convincing. And then you can go and do anything you want and no one will stop you. And that's never told to people. And I don't really understand why. You know, you hear the pen is mightier than the sword, which is just a cliche unless it's fleshed out.
If all you want is success, you will not have it. And so if all you want is the success, if all you want is a trophy, but you don't want a story, a process, if you don't want to be made into something, then you've already missed it. You've already failed. You've already tanked. And so once you get this, everything changes. What have been the biggest obstacles in your life? What has stopped you? What has hindered you? What has provoked you to get lazy? When life pushed you down, when everybody said you are not enough, when you told yourself, I quit because I can't finish, and you got back up the next day and kept going. Sacrifice is going to have to become your companion and no longer your enemy. Too many of you think sacrifice is your enemy. Sacrifice is a curse word. Sacrifice is bad. I don't want to sacrifice. Well, guess what? You cannot have success without process, without sacrificing. You cannot have it. Get up. Wake up. There's always another level. And it's not about beating the man or woman that's standing in the room with you. It's about beating the man and the woman that's in the mirror. Can you do better than you? Can you do better than you did yesterday? That's all I want to ask you. Can you do better? This is the day, come on, say this with me. This is the day I learn like I never have. This is the day I invest like I never have. This is the day I take it seriously. I got one window. I may not be here tomorrow. I see all things working for good. I see you stepping into everything that God has called you to do. I see you stepping into purpose and stepping into the plans that God already has laid out for you. This is your day. Get up and conquer your day. I'm just wondering, what are you going to do in this next 24 hours that you did not do? I'm just wondering if you're going to level up 2 millimeters more than you did yesterday. Are you going to get better? Are you going to get stronger? Are you going to get wiser? Are you going to pray differently? Are you going to see this thing differently? I'm just wondering, when are you going to see the power of 24 hours? I'm just wondering, when are you going to seize the opportunity? You can have journals full of dreams. You can have vision boards from your front door to your bathroom. But if you don't count up the cost of what it's going to take, and if you are not willing to pay that price, you cannot have your future. I want you to get this mentality in your head. Every day you pay. You pay. Forget waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning. You may have to lose sleep for a week. You may get 2 hours of sleep in 7 days so that you can accomplish what it is that you've been destined to accomplish, what you were born to contribute to humanity. And so I know it hurts, and I know it's expensive. Everything you need to get to this next level is inside of you. There's always another level. Just stand up. I'm just wondering if you're going to rise and see the opportunity. Rise. Rise above what they said. Rise above what happened. Get up. Get up. Get up. You've got a day to conquer.